There have been a couple changes to the agenda. So first, item A under section 6 has been moved to item A under section 5, and item E under section 6.
Really quick, Chair Chen. Let's see if we can get the presentation up here.
Oh, yeah.
Perfect. Now you can go for it.
Right. All right, I can call it to order again, I guess. So 6:33 p.m., I call this meeting to order. So first, a note on the changes to the agenda. So item A under section 6 has been moved to item A under section 5, and item E under section 6 has been moved to item B of section 5. And finally, item F under the consent calendar, which is Commissioner Liu's District 5 project proposal, has been moved to be under section 5, discussion action items, as item C. So next up is roll call. Commissioner Chen of District 1 and present. Commissioner, District 2 Commissioner, are you present? All right, District 3.
Present.
Thank you. District 4.
Present.
Thank you. District 5.
Present.
Thank you. District 6.
Present.
Thank you. District 7.
Present.
Thank you. District 8 is a vacancy. District 9.
Present.
Thank you. And District 10 has informed me that he is going to be running late. So that is roll call. Moving on, we have the land acknowledgement. We would like to take a moment to recognize that while we gather at the city of San Jose, we are gathered on the ethno-historic tribal territory of the Damian Ohlone-speaking tribal groups, some of whom were direct ancestors to lineages in the Muwekma Ohlone tribe. The present-day Muwekma Ohlone tribe is comprised of all the known surviving American Indian lineages aboriginal to the San Francisco Bay region, who trace their ancestry through the missions Dolores, Santa Clara, and San Jose. We, the San Jose Youth Commission, recognize the importance of this land to the indigenous Muwekma Ohlone people of this region. We also recognize that the ancestors of the Muwekma Ohlone constructed and maintained the 3 Bay Area missions. We pause for this land acknowledgement as a way of showing respect and countering the narratives and practices that erase indigenous people's history and culture, and toward inviting and honoring the truth. Moving on to section 2, public records. I do not believe that the commission has received any public record. So moving on to section 3, open forum. Do we have any members of the public who would like to speak on any issue? Okay. I do not believe that there are any members of the public present who would like to speak.
There was a hand raised.
Was there? My bad. I do not see a hand raised. Oh, Mr. Paul, I see you now. You have 2 minutes to speak on whatever you would like.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, also, I have 2 first names. My name is Sean Paul Guess.
Oh,
and
okay.
I worked with our nonprofits that can do something with the Digital Inclusion Partnership. And I wanted to know how we plan to involve more of the youth in the future with the Digital Inclusion Partnership, and how we plan to assist them further along with studying, since the library has been a big part of my life, given that I've worked for the library before as a library page, and I volunteered. Our nonprofit has hosted many events at the Hillview Library. And I just wanted to know how things could support the SEPTA do something, well, not SEPTA do something, but the Digital Inclusion Partnership further through either volunteering with other organizations and opening that up more for people to support more, and also with the library itself, and maybe a portion of funds could be generated to help open libraries for longer, maybe, since that could help to keep students off of the street and give them a safer place to study, since I find that to be really important personally, and also just being a student myself. It's helped out a lot to have the library as open space, and I'm not sure how opening the library up for longer hours of work, although we have done it before with one of our programs. We've ceased since, but we're looking to start that back up with the Hillview Branch Library, since I got in contact with the believe the branch manager, I'm not sure what the term is, for that location, since COVID has started to lower down. But yeah, I just wanted to know if there were any thoughts on your half, and wanted to see what happened. I was just recommended to come here by Clay Gardner, the Chief Innovation Officer for the Mayor's Office of Innovation Technology. So I thought I'd join and see how either myself or my network can be of service to help the Youth Commission to improve the lives of other youth.
Right, for sure. Thank you so much for coming to speak to us. We really appreciate you reaching out. And I really appreciate your service to our nonprofit. You've definitely made a really big impact, and we are all so grateful for that. As for your specific plans, so opening the library for longer hours would definitely be a great idea, and we can look into that. If you'd like to send us an email, we can probably set up more future individualized meetings and work something out. But as for our current present efforts to advance digital inclusion, we already are doing a number of things. Last year, there were a number of policy proposals targeted on reducing the digital divide, and I'm sure there'll be many more this year. And also the library has a number of wonderful initiatives that seek to address this issue, including a hotspot sharing program. So yeah, this is a really important issue to us. We fully intend to continue working towards it. And again, really grateful for you reaching out and for your work. So are there any other commissioners who have anything to add here? Commissioner Liu, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for your comment. I think Dr. King Library has expanded its hours, so that's one step from one library. Hillview Library is definitely in District 5, and feel free to shoot me an email and we could definitely work something out.
Thank you for that. Any other commissioners who would like to speak? All right, in that case, again, we really appreciate you reaching out to us. Definitely email us if you'd like to hear more from us. And again, just thank you for your time. So if there are not any other members of the public who would like to speak. All right, I do not see any more hands raised. So in that case, again, thank you for your time. And we'll be moving on to section 4, the consent calendar. So are there any motions on the floor to approve all the items listed under the consent calendar?
Mind you, section F was moved to the discussion.
Yes, section F, Commissioner Liu's District 5 project proposal has been moved out of the consent calendar. So are there any motions on the floor to approve the remaining items under the consent calendar, which include the August 22 agenda, meeting minutes, and retreat minutes?
Commissioners, if you want to make a motion, you need to unmute to make your motion.
Right.
I motion to approve the August 22nd, 2022 agenda.
So really quick, with the consent calendar, all we have to do is we just have to make one sweeping motion to approve everything on here instead of approving each individual item.
Right.
So it's
one
just this
sweeping
entire
motion.
section.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So Commissioner
Okay.
Khan,
So
would you like to
reword
revise
that?
that? Yeah.
I can rephrase. So I motion to approve the consent calendar.
All right, thank you. Are there any seconds?
Hi, Commissioner Liu, second Commissioner Khan's motion to approve the consent calendar.
Thank you. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. Any abstentions? All right, the motion has been carried and the consent calendar has been approved. Moving on to section 5, discussion and action items. So first, we have the Office of the City Manager to discuss the Youth Master Plan.
All right, thank you, Chair Chen. Commissioners, good evening. Good to see you all. Joined here with for this presentation by Laura Buzo and our newest addition, Kevin Nguyen, who just recently joined us. And I serve as Deputy City Manager with the City of San Jose. And we wanted to take an opportunity to share with you kind of an update on something really cool that's happening around in our city around the development of a children and youth services master plan. And before we get into all the details, then I'll turn it over to Laura, who will kind of give you a more in-depth, overview around kind of our next steps. I just wanted to frame a little bit of the why the Children and Youth Master Plan. And if you think back over the last couple of years, especially with our response to the pandemic, there's a lot of things that we learned. And one of the things that we learned specific to children and youth is that children and youth, especially those that are living in higher need neighborhoods, really were impacted significantly, right? I mean, we were all impacted across the board citywide, but we know that there were certain conditions in many of our neighborhoods, many of them rooted in poverty, racism, inequity, a number of different, challenges that we've had in neighborhoods, in neighborhoods that were already there prior to the pandemic, but during the pandemic were just really highlighted, right? Really accentuated. And what we saw was, of course, things like learning loss. We saw things like children and youth experiencing social isolation, mental, social, emotional health, anxiety increases amongst our youth. We saw, the ugly face of poverty, right? I mean, families got poorer, and during this time, many people had to stop working, and forcing many families, quite frankly, to move in, multiple families to a household, and of course, in San Jose, we've always had this prison pipeline, right? And what I mean by that is we know, because the data is very clear about this, that there are 3 zip codes in our city that basically populate more than 85% of our entire juvenile to adult prison system, starting with the Ranch Juvenile Hall all the way up to state prison, down in Stockton. 3 zip codes basically provide more than 85% of our prison population. Well, we know that that's unacceptable, and so clearly there's a prison pipeline, right? And so over the course of the pandemic, the mayor, the council, Chair Sylvia Arenas, who is chair over our Neighborhood Services and Education Committee, Councilmember Carrasco, a number of different leaders throughout. We all kind of got together, Jill Bourne from the library, John Cicerelli from Parks and Rec, Laura Buza, who at that time was with Parks and Rec, Michelle Ornat, Mariela Garcia from Councilmember Arenas' office. A lot of people started talking about we need to do something different, and it needs to be bold. And so we came up with this idea of developing a children and youth services master plan. And the whole goal, in a nutshell, is basically to create access to opportunity. We know that the best antidote to a lot of those isms that I discussed earlier are basically access to opportunity, right? And so if we have a prison pipeline, then why don't we create a cradle to career pipeline, a pipeline where children and youth can have access to opportunity, meaningful jobs, higher paying jobs. For some, this whole Silicon Valley, dream is kind of a pipe dream, right? And unless we create access to opportunity and opportunity pathways. And so that's really what was the impetus or the catalyst for this. And the timing is great because we're actually building on work that you have actually set in motion. April of 2021, some of you may remember that you came back to the mayor and council and you updated the Children and Youth Bill of Rights. And you even added 2 additional Bill of Rights that no one else has but San Jose, and to address more specific issues, especially issues rooted in race and equity and mental health. And at that time, when it was passed, it was pretty aspirational, right? There was a lot of kind of good goals, a lot of good objectives, but really there wasn't a mechanism to really put those goals into action. Well, we're going to have an opportunity with this master plan to move from a set of aspirational Bill of Rights to operational Bill of Rights, goals and programs that are actually operationalized in the way the city does work in partnership with the county, nonprofit organizations, faith community, business, and so forth. And so this is a really cool and important time. And we would like to engage the Youth Commission because we need to center this work in community voice. we need to center this work in youth voice, right? If this is going to be a children and youth services master plan, then it can't just be a bunch of adults putting this thing together, right? We're going to need to tap into youth leadership and the wisdom that you bring and your peers have to make sure that we come up with a bold strategy that is going to serve children and youth well into the future. And so I just wanted to give you that for framing. This is an exciting time. Again, as I said, this builds on work that you as a commission have already set in motion, and would like to invite each and every one of you and your peers to help us make this a reality. But let me turn this over now to Laura, who will kind of walk us through kind of the next steps and how we're going to make this happen. So Laura, if you want to take that away.
I believe
You're on mute, Laura.
You think I would learn by this time. Good evening, commissioners. Laura Buzo, assistant to the city manager in the city manager's office, as Angel mentioned, supporting him with the development of the Children Youth Services Master Plan. And here with me this evening is Kevin, and he's somewhere on the screen. Kevin, if you'd just like to say a quick hello.
Hi, everyone. I'm an analyst with the City Manager's Office supporting Laura and Angel on the master plan.
And Kevin is the liaison to the Youth Commission. So please feel free to email him or give him a call anytime if you have any questions as we move through this process. So as Angel mentioned, we are just embarking on the development of the Children Youth Services Master Plan. Just to give you some background, in addition to what Angel mentioned, this was a directive in the mayor's June 2021 budget message. It gave direction to the city manager's office to create a Children Youth Services Master Plan with the adoption of the revised Bill of Rights. And again, a lot of this came out of the issues and challenges that we were seeing that were impacting children, youth in the community in relation to the pandemic. And then it just also fit in well with the revision of the Bill of Rights that all of you advocated for and got approved by City Council. This is a citywide strategy to provide guidance on policy, investment, and program alignment for children and youth services. So this would be for all services in the city of San Jose, looking at what can the city do to be more responsive to the needs of young people. And as Angel mentioned, ensuring that we're creating pathways of opportunities from cradle to career. We need to ensure that all young people, regardless of the zip code that they live in, regardless of their ethnic or sexual orientation or just general background, that they have an opportunity to access opportunities for academic success, employment, educational attainment, and also ensuring a continuum of services with a no wrong door entry. And so what does this mean? We want to ensure that young people, if they need a service, that they can go, for example, into a community center, and if they're looking for health services or mental counseling, that they have someone there who can assist them in obtaining those services. It may not be a service that the city itself offers, but through our partnership, it would be a service that we can connect young people and their families to. So the key elements that we will be spearheading to inform the development of the Children Youth Services Master Plan is the Bill of Rights. We feel it's very important that we frame and integrate all of the articles of the Bill of Rights throughout the master plan. And so you'll be seeing that in the final document. We're also going to be including recommendations from the audit report. You may have heard that the city auditor's office just audited our program citywide to ensure that we as departments and city staff are adhering to the Bill of Rights for Children and Youth. And so they have provided some recommendations that we will also incorporate into the master plan. We're going to be looking at primary data, and we will do this through collecting data from focus groups, interviews, youth town halls, and surveys. Secondary data, collecting, reviewing, and analyzing national, county, city, and other local initiatives, research, and reports. So for example, looking at data that school districts may have, or the County Office of Education, or Santa Clara County Juvenile Justice, as an example. Looking at literature review, what does the literature tell us around best practices around youth development and youth services, so we can ensure that we're looking at the best practices that are out there that can help inform us. And then lastly, team structure. We have set up some committees and advisories to provide input, recommendations, guidance, and support. And this is our team structure. I hope that you can see it. I know it's a little small. So Angel's spearheading this in partnership with citywide departments. We have our Neighborhood Services and Education Committee, which you may know is comprised of city council members, and they provide guidance, direction around policies, funding priorities. And so we are engaging them throughout the development of the master plan. We're also working with consultants to help us in this citywide effort because we know it'll take more than just our office to ensure that this development, the master plan is an effective and strategic document. Below you see that we have an executive committee, and this will be comprised of department representatives from the library, Office of Racial Equity, Office of Economic Development, and Parks, Recreation, and Neighborhood Services. The executive committee members will serve as support to the development of the master plan. And then we have a community advisory committee. And so this is composed of representatives representing different organizations and providers and community leaders throughout the city. So we have folks from different organizations such as Roots Clinic, Catholic Charities, the County Office of Education, Santa Clara County Behavioral Health, LGBTQ providers, as well as Asian American community involvement, just to name a few. I have a full list that I can provide you as well. And then we have a technical committee, and that committee is helping us with what I had mentioned earlier was this no wrong door entry. And so how do we create this centralized system of support? Again, providing a support system to ensure that young people and their families can access a myriad of services, not only those that are available within the city, but also through our partnerships with other organizations, such as the County Office of Education or Behavioral Health or school districts. We have a parent caregiver advisory. We need to ensure that the master plan engages and includes the voices of parents and caregivers so they can share with us what their hopes and dreams are for their children. What are some issues and challenges that they have experienced that they can share with us that will inform the master plan. And then of course we have the Youth Commission. As Angel mentioned, this plan will only be effective if we strategically engage young people to ensure that their voices is heard throughout the document. We have some standing agenda items and some activities proposed that I'll review in just a second. And in addition to that, we also want to engage other young people that we know aren't connected to other programs and services so that we can hear from them as well on what are some supports that they would need to be able to be successful in homeschool and community, and what are some of their goals and dreams in life that we would want to include as part of our overall master plan. I'm not going to go through this. I basically mentioned the different committees, but this gives you a little bit more information that again, I'll share with you the PowerPoint. And then here's our timeline. So we have a kickoff meeting on August 29th with our executive committee. And as I mentioned, this is our internal staff. And then we have our community advisory committee September 2nd. And this is again comprised of diverse community partners. We'll be coming back to you on September 12th. And we discussed with a group of you about a week ago to talk about how we can ensure that we engage the Youth Commission throughout the development of the master plan. And so we are committed to having a standing agenda item on your monthly meetings. We will also be engaging you throughout the process to help us craft the focus group questions that we will be going out to community with, as well as the surveys. In addition to that, we will be partnering with you in hosting 2 youth town halls, one at Educational Park, which we are yet to determine, and then a virtual one. We know that not everyone has access to transportation, or because of other conflicts or challenges, they may not be able to attend an in-person youth town hall. So we wanted to make sure that we made one available that anyone in the city could access. And then in addition to that, we're going to be hosting a youth town hall with our Parks Recreation Department at Seven Trees Community Center. And again, we are still identifying dates to schedule these, in part because we are just starting our work with our consultant who will be helping us with the process. Our goal is to come back to you with an update in November on the status of the master plan, to give you a more formal update on that. And then we will be going to NSC, the Neighborhood Services and Education Committee, in December for an update and presentation on the master plan. And we know that we have a mayor and new council members coming on board in January. And so we're giving ourselves about a month to be able to get them up to speed and also engage them to answer any questions that they may have about the plan. And so if they have any questions, we can also just update them on where we are with the plan. And then our goal is to go to City Council on the final master plan in March. And that is all I have.
All right, thank you. So do we have any questions for the city manager's office? Okay, if not, I do have a quick question.
Sure.
Right, so about this community of advisory committee, I believe it was called, and the other one, the parents
The
and
executive, the parent caregiver.
Right. So just 2 quick questions. One, about how many people do we expect to be on each commission? And 2, are the rosters for those being essentially finalized, or what's the progress on that?
Yeah, so the Community Advisory Committee has actually evolved. So it's become a larger group of folks. I think we're at about 25 different representatives, and then we'll have some city staff that will also be attending so that they can be a resource if any questions come up specific around programs and services. The list is finalized, and so I have that available, and I can include it with the copy of the PowerPoint. And then as far as the parent and caregiver advisory, we don't have our final list yet. I'm still in the process of connecting with different parents and caregivers. I've also reached out to some city staff. I've reached out to some of our community partners to provide us with names of parents and caregivers that might be interested in participating.
All right, for sure. Thank you. Does any other commissioner have any other questions? Commissioner Sriram?
Sorry, just to check, I'm not quite sure if this was mentioned yet, but could you elaborate a little more on the budget for this?
So in the mayor's June budget message of 2021, they allocated 500,000 for the entire planning process of the development of the plan. And then in addition to that, on April 26th of this year, City Council approved federal funds, ARP, American Rescue Plan funds. And out of that, we have set aside some funding to also support the master plan. And we specifically set aside some funds that we will have access to be able to provide any specific services that may come out of the plan. So for example, if we identify certain gaps in the community and we see that there's not an agency, for example, that provides that, then we have some funds set aside that we could develop a grant for a particular type of service or activity. Angel, do you want to mention anything else?
Yeah, what I would add to what Laura mentioned is that, and it'll give you an indication of how serious this is to the mayor and council. They allocated $10.5 million from ARP dollars, federal dollars, that came out of ARP funds, American Rescue Plan funds, as Laura mentioned. And I think that was a pretty bold statement, right? Because they could have spent that money on a lot of other things. And the fact that the response to this idea of we really need to be more bold around how we invest in children and youth, I think that, metaphorically, kind of take that as a pretty nice down payment, right, in terms of this work. Having said that, going forward, really the goal is to develop a strategic plan that also serves as a business plan, an investment portfolio, if you will, around how we need to invest in children and youth. And so the way we see it is the city is going to need to really, step up its game in terms of this investment. The county will need to do the same. We're going to be reaching out to philanthropy and different community foundations. We're already talking to many of them now about their investments. And we're also reaching out to the corporate sector, right? I mean, if we're talking about a cradle to career pathway, then we also want them to be partners in helping to build this. And so it really is going to take the entire community to get around this. If we're going to do this right, we are going to, this is going to be a citywide approach, but with a very strong emphasis and priority on higher need neighborhoods that just really need greater access to this opportunity pathway, right? So it's pretty exciting. And if we do this right, then the goal would be to really lock in long-term funding so that this outlasts all of us, right? So that this becomes the way San Jose does business around investing in its children and youth. Great, that was a great question.
Thank you, Angel.
All right, thank you. Does anyone else have any other questions? Okay, then, moving on to the next agenda item. I believe that is the San Jose Walk and Roll team.
Hi, yes. Dominic is going to be presenting the first half, and then I'll do the second half.
All right, for sure.
Yeah, hello, hi. My name is Dominic. Thanks for this opportunity to share about the Walk and Roll program and our plans to increase our outreach to high schools. I'm the program's lead for high school recruitment and development. Again, my name is Dominic, and I'm here with our program manager, Anne. She's also going to help me present on a few of these slides. And just a little bit about us. She's been the manager. Anne's been our manager for about 2 years. And before that, she came from the Silicon Valley Bike Coalition. So she has a lot of experience in, bike and pedestrian advocacy. And I've been with Walk and Roll for about 4 years. And, I'm a longtime resident of District 8 and grew up here. So it's nice to work with the schools, that I grew up going to. So next slide, please. All right, so just in case you guys are unfamiliar with the Walk and Roll program, it's also known as the Safe Routes to School, and we exist to encourage students to walk, bike, or scooter to school. We provide bike and pedestrian safety education, and we work with the Department of Transportation engineers where our program is housed to help make it safer around schools by installing crosswalks or stop signs, other improvements. Our program really has three main goals. That's to increase active and sustainable transportation, reduce pollution by walking and biking, and to promote healthy behaviors. Walking or rolling to school provides an opportunity for students to get daily exercise, which they might not get otherwise. And it also reduces the amount of cars that may jam the roads, during the morning drop-off or the pickup time after school. And it also means less fossil fuels burning. Our program is funded through a county measure called Measure B from 2016. And that's really what allows us to, expand our reach into high schools. We work with about 60, mostly elementary and middle schools. We do events like bike rodeos. We have a new event that we've been piloting called Viva Escuela. And we also attend a lot of school events, back to school nights, open houses, things like that to, do, resources and talk about safety. We have 3 full-time staff on our team today. And so we plan to do this high school outreach starting in 2020, but of course that was kind of put off by the pandemic. So we're really looking forward to being able to start that starting this school year. And yeah, we hope you guys are interested in working with us. The next slide, I think Anne will be presenting.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you, Dominic. We call him Dom. Some of the features of our high school program are a little bit different. If any of you went to an elementary school in San Jose where walk and roll was part of the school experience, you might remember walk and roll staff coming to do like a bicycle and pedestrian safety assembly, or like Dom mentioned, the bike rodeos. But with high schools, we want to focus on working with the student council at that high school, or an environmentally focused club, or an honor society, whichever club might be interested in sort of spearheading the walk and roll program for that high school, because the idea is high school students have more maturity, are more interested in developing leadership skills. And you all know what motivates and inspires your fellow students to walk or bike to school. So we do provide a lot of the back end support for, say, that group of students that wants to lead the walk and roll program for their high school. So it's all, like Dom said, it's all about encouraging people to walk and bike. So it's creating more awareness around sustainable transportation. We know that a lot of high school students are very interested in preserving the environment and improving conditions. And also looking towards college, where a lot of colleges don't necessarily encourage students to drive onto campus that first year. So this is a good way for high school students to kind of get a feel for what it means to be safe when you're walking or biking. Like Dom and then our colleague Winnie and I will work with that student group and train those students to impart safety education to the rest of their peers. And whether it's something where they want to create like a public service announcement, or do an assembly themselves, or have like a panel discussion, it's sort of up to that group of students. And like I said, every high school will have different things that motivate those students to try walking or biking. So we work with those students to be creative, and then also share correct information about safe walking and biking. And so that's where our team comes in to help sort of train students on why you wear a bike helmet, for instance, and how to make sure it fits, whether you can bike on the sidewalk or not, or should you be in the bike lane, or can you only be on the trail, or can you ever bike in a quote unquote car lane. So all that sort of technical assistance is what we will provide. And there's also ample advocacy and public speaking opportunities. What we want to do is bring in DOT engineers and urban planners to meet with this group of students and sort of take a look at the environment around that high school to see What can we do to make the streets safer for people who are walking or biking? And then maybe if, high school allows it, we can bring students who have developed that education plan, like, or a presentation, and go maybe to their middle school or the elementary school and teach the younger kids about being safe when they're biking or walking. We also do offer community service hours for not only the students that we work with directly, but anyone else who volunteers to help out with different safety presentations or bike rodeos or what have you. And as Dom mentioned, we are funded through the 2016 Measure B. It was a sales tax measure passed in 2016. And so that funds everything that we do. This includes, us training high school students, providing incentives or prizes. So if you think that your high school or the high school that you might all bring in wants to have like a walk and roll day where we celebrate kids who walk and bike to school, we can provide incentives like sunglasses, backpacks, pencils, you name it. So we kind of reward students who decide to walk or bike to school. Next slide, please. So who can participate? So all of you as youth commissioners, go to various high schools so we can work with any high school that's within San Jose city limits, but it does have to be a public high school. So charter schools, public schools are great. We're currently working with 5 high schools, so who are interested in starting the program. So we're already talking to Overfelt High School. Huge thanks to Andrew Liu for connecting us. In fact, he is the one who is the reason that we're here. I got to meet him at a Viva Parks event in District 5 over the summer. So we're excited to work with Overfelt High. We're also speaking with Branham High, Piedmont Hills, Evergreen Valley, and Independence High. So if you go to any of those schools and you want to get involved, or of a club that's interested in sustainable transportation, we would love to talk with you. If you know of other schools in your district that would be interested, please connect us. The person to contact is Dominic. So we have his email here. And for more information about the Walk and Roll program in general, we have our website at sanjoseca.gov/walk and roll. On there, you'll also find past newsletters. We've put out a monthly newsletter about happenings at our different schools that we serve and safety tips and, anything that, promotes exercise and walking and biking. We do this monthly, except for the months of July and August. And that is time. So if anyone has any questions, I know Chair Chen is spearheading that. So.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Khan and Commissioner Liu questions. So let's begin with Commissioner Khan.
Yeah, so I just want to start off by saying that I go to Independence, and such a big school. There's so much traffic. There are we recently, I don't know if other schools in San Jose have had this thing. I'm pretty sure they have, where we have a new start time, which is 8:30.
Yes.
So everyone starts at 8:30 now because no one wants late start that starts at 9:30, and I have early start. So getting to school in the morning is such a pain because there's so much traffic. And, I've considered, taking the bus, and I've considered, driving or riding my bike to school. But the fact that, I live in a very congested area and it's not safe always throws off my parents. And I know that this program right here is probably going to change their minds about that. So I just want to say kudos to you guys. I think it's a great program. It's really eye-catching, and it's really, I think it's something that is really going to benefit, especially my district, for being so overpopulated and congested. And I really think it's going to do such a great impact. So I'm so happy that you guys are collaborating with Independence. And I'm an ASB there, so if you guys need some contacts with clubs there to maybe get this thing a little bit more, I think that with Independence ASB we have a lot of stuff going on. So if you want specific clubs that can maybe help you guys out, I can get that for you. But I just wanted to let you guys know with that But otherwise, I think it's a really good program. Thank you so much.
Oh, that I'm so happy to hear that, Commissioner Khan. That's awesome. I just took a note. I wrote down your name, so I'm going to be reaching out to you because independence, it is huge. Like I went to high school, and I don't even know if you guys know what Petaluma is, but it's this tiny town in Sonoma County. And Independence High, it seems like it's like the entire population of Petaluma to me. It is huge, and so you guys. A lot of people look to you, right? Like everybody knows Independence High and San Jose High and Lincoln High. No offense to anybody who's, if you're a rival school to those, but you have this amazing opportunity to sort of be that example for other high schools in San Jose. So I will definitely, or actually Dom will probably, one of us will be reaching out to you, Commissioner Khan, to get us connected with some clubs that you think would be interested. Thank you.
Of course. Yeah, I mean, I can speak from experience. School ended for me at around 2:50 today. I got back home at 3:30. So, and I live 5 minutes away. So,
oh my gosh.
Yeah, 1.5 miles, so it's a big pain, and I really wish that students would choose public transportation, because the other thing is those buses, they go back and forth all the time. Like that's their job. So they're also like wasting fossil fuels and gas money and all of that by running like that with having no students like ride them, So I think it's really beneficial that, people start using public transportation. And yeah, I think it's a really good program. Thank you so much.
Oh yeah, thank you. And we will, we do want to bring in VTA because you mentioned public transportation. They have like some safety training as well. So we would bring them onto your campus too.
Yeah. And one other thing is like with the safety training that you mentioned, I know personally, like a lot of like my friends and classmates who don't know actually much about like traveling safely. I mean, like they know the basics, like, oh, should wear a helmet when you're riding a bicycle, but who really wears a helmet? I mean, I don't think they understand like the consequences. Yes. So, and then you have students, who are reckless drivers, and don't know how to cross the street, even though they're literally teenagers. And I just think that everyone needs a reminder once in a while. So,
yeah. So true.
It's just my personality. I'm very sarcastic, but yeah.
No, hey, I speak sarcasm as well, so I totally get it.
All right, thank you for that. And Commissioner Lee has a question.
Yes, also question, but similar vein. Could you please remind me again what the list of high schools in the area that you've already covered with Walk and Roll again? Sure, I just wanted to take note of them because I have 2 schools that I might be able to connect to. I just wanted to make sure, like, to see if we are already in there.
Yeah, absolutely. So that would be Branham High School, Independence High, Overfelt High, Piedmont Hills, and Evergreen Valley.
Okay, got it. Then I can talk to,
and I'll put it in the chat because I know it's Dominic and I talk about these high schools all the time, but this is sort of a first here. So I'll put it in the chat.
That's perfect. Yeah. So I can talk about connecting Walk and Roll to Leland High School and Pioneer High School. I have connection to ASB in both. So I think we should be able to see if we can get connected. So it'll be Dominic's email that I want to get to.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
connect
with Dom. He's the lead on all of our high school development. So
yeah.
That'd be
okay.
great.
Okay. Sounds good. Will do. Thank you.
All right, for sure. Does anyone else have any other questions? All right. In that case, thank you so much to the Walk and Roll team, as well as the city manager's office. Again, we really, really appreciate your time and your effort. So with that, let's move on to again, thank you so much. Yeah. Let's move on to the next agenda item, which would be Commissioner Liu's project proposal. So Commissioner Liu, would you like 1 or 2 minutes to just summarize this project's logistics and intent?
Yes, I'm sure that you all have access to this proposal on the agenda. It should be hyperlinked. And to give you a quick background, the District 5 Youth Advisory Summit Conference was inspired by internationally renowned leadership curriculum from various leadership institutes that teach these skills from all over the world, from China to Afghanistan to Egypt, and even teaching a lesson of teamwork to the highest levels of our diplomatic governments, and to those who are at a disadvantage in multiple developing countries. I was part of this curriculum first as a delegate and then as a certified trainer. To put it simply, it was a life-changing experience, and giving my fellow youths the tools they need to succeed both as YAC members and in their personal lives is really what is the core of this conference. This leadership will serve as the foundation for all the times they will need to step up as leaders, and it'll give them a chance to bond with each other and be friends. There is a cost factor of $210 for basic supplies and food for the conference. So all the details should be in the project proposal. And this is the first conference led by District 5. I'm District 5's youth commissioner in over 3 years. And I'm going to end by saying that saying something that I say to my YAC members all the time, and that is they are the important people, and I'm here to relay their ideas and their thoughts. That's it. Thank you.
All right, that's really exciting. So before we move this to voting, I just want to open the floor to any questions. So does any commissioner have any questions for Commissioner Liu? Commissioner Khan, go ahead.
Yeah, so I heard a lot of like countries that are part of my ethnicity and like Egypt. I am Puerto Egyptian. So I just wanted to ask what like can you like go a little bit more into detail as to what this conference will entail? And like what is your goal? I heard a lot about diplomacy and stuff.
Yeah, it'll equip them with the skills to be an effective leader, like project planning and really getting those tools. Writing public speaking, because public speaking is definitely something that a lot of people need to work on. I could definitely send you additional details if you'd like. If there's space, I would like to invite my fellow commissioners to attend the conference. It's 2 days and it's in September. We're trying to figure out the dates, but it's really exciting. And we have connected with our council member to possibly speak at the event.
That sounds really cool. Thank you.
Does anyone else have any other questions? All right, if not, I do have a quick question for you, Commissioner Liu. So if I'm correct, your event will be taking place over Labor Day weekend, right?
That is right, September 3rd through 4th.
Absolutely. So just speaking from like logistical point of view, do you have like supervisors confirmed? Because Labor Day weekend can be a bit tricky with planning this. Okay.
Yeah,
so
we're kind of working on getting to we have a supervisor confirmed for 1 day and a half of other conference, but we still need to figure out who the other details, because one of the supervisors is unable to make the whole conference.
All right, for sure. Okay, that should be fine. Just try to figure that out as soon as possible, and we should be good. So in that case, let's just move on to voting. Are there any motions on the floor to approve this project proposal? Commissioner Lee, go ahead.
Commissioner Lee, make a motion to approve this project proposal.
Thank you. Are there any seconds?
I second that.
Thank you. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. Any abstentions? All right, and with that, the motion is carried and Commissioner Liu's project proposal is passed. So then we can move on to the next agenda item. So moving on to section 6, reports and information. So the city manager's report was moved up. So next we would have the council liaison report.
Yes, that would be me. Hi, everybody. I'm Mariela Garcia with Councilwoman Arenas' office. Councilwoman Arenas represents District 8. So we hope that you all had a really fun and relaxing summer break. I know that most schools are back in session, and so we're wishing all of our San Jose students the best of luck this new school year. And for us, it's been a lot of fun to also connect in person at back to school events. And so we hope to continue connecting with our students and also our community at their campuses over the next few weeks. I also wanted to let you know that over this next year, our office really looks forward to keeping you updated on policy issues that are coming to council that impact children and youth. And so we want these updates to be about issues that you really care about. We want to provide you with an opportunity to inform and engage residents in your district and your networks, to advocate for the change that you want to see in San Jose. And so whether that's around environmental issues or transportation issues, social justice, which I know encompasses all of it, or the implementation of youth development programs, please don't hesitate to reach out to me anytime. We can connect on your questions or your feedback. Our council office is another resource to support you in your political engagement journeys, and so we really, really appreciate your leadership. And that's all for me. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. Yeah, we really appreciate all the updates. We use them directly to get a feel for the community needs, and that influences our projects and policy proposals. So yeah, again, absolutely really appreciate the updates. Thank you for your time. Does any other commissioner have any questions or comments for Ms. Garcia? All right then, no questions. So again, thank you so much for your time. And moving on, the PRNS report was canceled. So we have the San Jose Library report.
Good evening, commissioners. I'm Michelle Arnott, Deputy Director of Public Services for the San Jose Public Library. So I'm just here to provide a few updates. We have several successful programs this summer. First off is summer learning. Between June 1st and July 31st, more than 11,000 residents registered for the summer learning program. That is equal to the combined total registrations from the last 2 years. Readers logged nearly 72,000 titles and more than 6.7 million minutes read. All participants under 18 years old received 2 free books, and participants in each age category who completed the program were entered into grand prize drawings. Next up, we have the graphic novel making contest. This is our 14th annual graphic novel making contest. The official entries or time for entries to be submitted ended on Sunday, July 31st. This year, we received 214 entries, which were submitted by 223 participants. Entries were judged by San Jose Public Library staff and volunteers, and winners will be announced at the virtual awards ceremony, which can be viewed over Zoom and YouTube, and also at in-person watch parties at 8 library locations. That will be happening on Saturday, September 10th at 2 p.m. All age group winners will receive a prize box, and all the participants will receive a participation prize. For more information about the awards ceremony, you can visit sjpl.org/graphic novel contest. This past Saturday on August 20th, friends, families, and communities of the Hillview Branch Library came together to reclaim their neighborhood library and build community engagement during a special event. The event featured entertainment and activities for children and for families. They included community resource tabling, prizes, music, and puppet show, as well as a lot of food partially donated by the community. And on August 4th, we had a career online high school graduation ceremony. This was our 9th graduation ceremony. And this year it was held at the City Hall Rotunda, where 21 students attended the graduation ceremony. Since the program began in 2016, a total of 143 San Jose adults have obtained their accredited high school diploma. And currently the library is supporting an additional 31 adults who are working to complete the program. Career Online High School is offered at no cost thanks to our wonderful partners and supporters, including the San Jose Public Library Foundation, the California State Library, and the San Jose City Council, who have provided collectively 350 scholarships in the last 6 years. We are also grateful for the commitment, one-on-one support, and motivation of our staff in the Partners in Reading unit. They work individually and dedicatedly with all of the students. If you're interested in learning more about Career and Land High School, you can visit sjpl.org/COHS. And lastly, it's back to school time, as you all know, and we want to remind students that we have access to free and valuable resources, which are available both online and in person. We have an array of extensive physical collection of materials and tech devices that can be checked out, also study rooms, printers, computers, and a wide variety of educational programs. In addition, there are resources exclusively for educators, such as the San Jose Public Library's Educator Card. Also, we have a plethora of resources available online. And lastly, our library branches will be closed for Labor Day holiday on Monday, September 5th, and the library will resume its normal operating hours on Tuesday, September 6th. The library's online collection, e-library card registration, e-learning resources, and streaming services are always available at sjpl.org. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Does anyone have any questions or comments? Okay, I do have a quick comment actually. So I just wanted to say that like, if the library has any sort of promotional material for any of these events, such as the graphic narrative contest or the scholarships or whatever, we as a commission would be happy to promote over social media and just spread awareness overall. So yeah, if there's anything you would like us to do, we are available. Just send us an email. All right. So yeah, again, thank you for your time. And I actually want to circle back to Ms. Garcia. Ms. Garcia, are you still present? There is a relatively pressing issue that I would like to ask you about.
Sure.
All right. So District 8 currently has a vacancy on the Youth Commission, and vacancies just overall really affect us as we aren't able to operate as efficiently as we would be able to with a full set of commissioners. So I was just wondering, like, I want to just check in on the appointment process. Is there a timeline in place, or is there like a date by which we can expect to have a new commissioner?
Yeah, that's a really good question. We're actually in the process of reviewing applications. And so we hope that by next month, we'll have a District 8 commissioner appointed to join you all in your good work.
All right, thank you. Yeah, just the vacancies really do affect us, and knowing that makes me feel a lot more at peace. So, all right, thank you. All right, so in that case, again, thank you, Ms. Garcia, and thank you, Ms. Ornat. And moving on, the walk and roll information presentation has been moved up. So now we would have the commission chair report, which I will get to. So today's share report will be relatively longer. I have a number of important notes because this is our first meeting. But just first of all, we are currently looking into whether we would like to have the Parks, Recreation, and Neighborhood Services maintain their standing slot in our meetings. I also presented at the Library and Education meeting on August 17th, informing them of our recent activities and future plans. And that will just be a recurring thing now. I will go to their meetings every month and have a standing slot to inform them of what's going on, more or less. So that has been my chair duties, but I now have a number of really important reminders for you commissioners. So first, I would like to remind everyone on the policy regarding absences. So I understand that this is the start of our year and that everyone is still figuring out their schedules and things can get busy, but I do need at least 24 hours of advance notice if you are to miss a meeting, unless there is an emergency. And not just me, you should be informing me, Vice Chair Sriram, and Ms. Malloy regarding any absences. And if you're going to be late, again, please just let me know as soon as possible, because that really does help me get meetings started in a timely manner. And again, if we cannot meet quorum, that is bad, because we will not be able to take action on any of our action items. And we are already shorthanded one commissioner because of the District 8 vacancy. So that makes your attendance all the more important. So in the future, please, please, please do try to come to meetings. If you can, absolutely cannot, let me, Vice Chair Siram, and Ms. Malloy know. And if you have any questions, review the Youth Commission Honor Code, which does contain a policy regarding absences, or ask me, Vice Chair Siram, or Ms. Malloy directly. And again, please continue to check your Youth Commission email at least once daily. If you are having trouble setting it up, please refer to me or Ms. Malloy for assistance. This Youth Commission email is our preferred medium for communication. For example, if you were to miss a meeting, I would like to know via an email, and if you would like, a text would also suffice. So yes, also please make sure that you have scheduled your one-on-one meetings with Ms. Malloy and have informed her of your YAC meeting schedule so she can be present for each of those. And we also will have a virtual training meeting on September 12th at 6 p.m. Again, remember that your attendance or excused absence is mandatory. And finally, please complete the Brown Act training if you are a new commissioner. If you are a returning commissioner, the training you completed last year will count for the remainder of return, but the review of the rules cannot hurt because the Brown Act rules are pretty strict, and it is important that we have a comprehensive understanding of them. So just in summary, the most important takeaway from this is please just tell me if you're going to miss a meeting, and please try not to miss any meetings. So yeah, that concludes my chair report. And now we will be moving on to each of you guys' report for our own city district. So starting off, that would again be me, as I am the District 1 Commissioner. So because the year's just getting started, I'm still trying to organize my YAC. I'm getting started with preliminary outreach activities just to expand, because more YAC members is never a bad thing. We'll be having our first YAC meeting next week, and I intend to have them once or twice a month virtually. And again, we're just getting started with the year, but I'm really optimistic. My members are enthusiastic, and I'm hoping we can get into the flow of things quickly. And we have a number of exciting policy proposals in the work. So I'm hoping to get those out as soon as possible. And that's more or less it. And things are heating up and I'm really excited. So District 2.
I've been working to start my YAC and getting more members. I already had a few members interested in joining, and I'm just trying to really reach out and communicate, especially with students at my school who are more involved in like clubs and extracurriculars, because I know those students tend to be the ones that would be interested in this. And I've also been reaching out to a lot of other students around my school and some neighboring schools that are in my district. I plan to have my first YAC meeting either early next month or middle of next month. And of the students who already joined, we've talked about some things we're interested in doing, some events that we plan on bringing, and also trying to find ways to make like the YAC more a part of my school instead of just like something like outside of it, and just bring more awareness to it.
All right, thank you. Sounds exciting. District 3.
Okay, so our first YAC meeting will be in 2 weeks on September 7th. We're expecting about 4 to 5 people to come. We're planning to work on our district-specific work plan, as well as begin drafting our District 3 citywide survey and policy summit. Thank you.
All right, for sure. Thank you. And moving on to District 4.
So my report consists of, as of right now, I'm also currently in the process of setting up my YAC, and there are a couple of things that are a little bit different from last year than in my YAC. Number one is diversity. I'm someone who, or as personally as commissioner, I'm like looking for students of a more diverse background when it comes to, and like an economic diversity background, because one of the core issues in District 4 that we've noticed is poverty and lack of economic resources. There is a homeless cluster starting to form on Commercial in the intersection of the 101 entrance on Commercial Street. And so that is so because of that, there are a lot of like economic different economic diversity in our district, and that's like the biggest issue right now. So I'm trying to recruit members who come from different economic backgrounds. Also, the other thing is I want to recruit students from charter schools, because we have students from public schools, but we're not giving the opportunity to students from charter schools. Our next meeting, I just asked Ms. Malloy and hopefully I plan to have my interviews for my YAC sometime next week. And then the week after that, the Tuesday, the 6th, will be our first meeting. And yeah, so that's it so far.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Khan. Thank you, Commissioner Khan. That all sounds really great. Moving on to District 5.
Yes, District 5's YAC has been pretty active. We're getting all members together. We had 15 applications in the span of 2 months. Shout out to my communications director. We've been actively involved. We've been out there in Viva Parks events. That's how we met Rock and Roll. And that's awesome. And we've definitely reached out to every high school and middle school in District 5, including public, private, and charter schools. I was able to connect directly with my council members. So we're working on a plan to encourage more youth engagement and to promote youth in our government and policies. Yeah, I think that's all.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Liu. Sounds really exciting. And moving on to District 6.
Yeah, so I'm focusing on just building my YAC because I don't go to school in my district. So I'm trying to reach out to schools in the area so that I have more people. And I have some people interested, so I'm just trying to like figure out a schedule and figure out like meeting dates and times that work for like everybody. But for now, I'm just mainly focusing on like building it from the ground up.
All right, absolutely. Thank you. So moving on to District 7.
So essentially, even though we haven't had a meeting yet, the District 7 YAC has been in pretty constant communication. We recently received a few applications, which is pretty exciting considering how hard it was to gain YAC members last year. We're also at the moment, since school is starting to ramp up, we're trying to see if there's any way we can get into contact with school, like student activities directors and also principals, to see if there's any way we can continue the work that we did with them last year. That's basically it.
All right, thank you. So District 8 is a vacancy. District 9, Commissioner Singh has unfortunately had to leave early, but I trust that he's doing good work. And that leaves us with Commissioner Lee from District 10.
Yes, sir. Okay, so District 10 right now, we've been going through the recruitment process. At Leland, the recruiting has already begun. So we're already reaching out to ASB and we're trying to get posters out to get people to come and join our event. I am in the process of reaching out to the ASB president at Pioneer, Allison Grove. And so we are going to be trying to pull some people also from our surrounding schools, also in District 10. We're building our leadership team right now, and I'm hoping to begin some management meetings next week. Actually, also found out that our upcoming vice president, just found this out, but our upcoming vice president is actually in this call right now. So shout out to Nolan. But and let's see here, what else is there? We're going to be planning to meet once a week, likely on Thursdays. So I think that'll be pretty much all that I have for you.
Okay, thank you. And our citywide commissioner has not been able to join us for tonight. So that brings our district specific reports to a close, and we can move on to items for future commission meeting agendas. So right now we have a couple confirmed items on September's agenda. For example, we have the San Jose Youth Bill of Rights Auditor coming to speak to us. We have people from Santa Clara County's Children's Outdoor Bill of Rights coming to speak to us. There's an organization called Kids in Common coming, and PRNS will be coming to speak to us regarding the park fee study. So those are the confirmed items, but does any commissioner at this point in time have any items that they know they would like to place on next month's agenda?
Yeah, I have 2 project proposals that I'd like to have on the next agenda.
All right, noted. 2 project proposals. Thank you, Commissioner Wang. Anyone else? All right, if you would like to place an item on the agenda for next month, please inform me and Ms. Malloy by September 12th. So that is the agenda due date deadline. And please, please, please submit your work in a timely fashion. Otherwise, I am not sure if I can accommodate that on the agenda. So that concludes the section 7, and we can move on to section 8, adjournment. So the next regular meeting of the U Commission will be Monday, September 26th at 6:30 p.m. And again, please inform me ahead of time if you are going to miss. So are there any motions on the floor to adjourn? Commissioner Lee?
Commissioner Lee, make a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Thank you. Any seconds?
Hi, Commissioner Khan, second that.
All right. All in favor, please say aye.
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 All right. All opposed, please say nay. Any abstentions? All right. With that, the motion is carried, and I call this meeting to adjournment at 7:48 p.m. All right. And yeah, we're good to go now. And next meeting is November 26th, though we do have our training on 12th. So yeah, that's just a reminder for you guys. And it's been a long meeting, so I hope you guys have a great rest of the day.
Congratulations, all. Good
Well
job on
done.
your first meeting.
Great job.
Good job.
Commissioner Chen.
You did a great job, Commissioner Chen.